Yo, what's up? My name is CJ Emanuel. Check out my podcast, Love Life's Comedy. This is Props Comic. The easy answer, the official answer, talking about a comic, Eddie Murphy is who I have my earliest comedy memories with. Watching SNL with my dad and watching wrestling on Saturday nights and stuff, and just watching my father crack up, especially that James Brown hot tub scene. He would just crack up every fucking time. So professionally, it's been Eddie Murphy. I've been wanting to be Eddie Murphy my whole life. But my father is the real comic. You know, he's not a comic. He wasn't a comic, but he was just always cracking them dad jokes and shit like that. And my goal in life was always just to make him laugh. So I think by proxy, he kind of taught me how to be a comic. He taught me set up punch, and I didn't even realize it at the time. The comic to this day, he's no longer with us, and he's still, I couldn't imagine coming up with Patrice O'Neal running shit at the comedy cellar up in New York City. And some of the greats that are working today, the Bill Burrs, Kevin Hart's, they talk about the hell just to, at the back of the room, Patrice would tell you exactly how you were if you had no chops at all, if you had no business doing comedy. And just the idea that sometimes that ghost haunts me. Shut up. Sit your ass down. You have no business doing this comedy shit. But I still learn the art of comedy, the art of just being true to yourself through the plethora of Patrice O'Neal content on YouTube, the Opie and Anthony stuff. His stand-up, Elephant in a Room, is a masterpiece. I don't know if I could ever touch that, but I still, to this day, I couldn't imagine trying to come up with Patrice in a room. The one bit that, calling back to Eddie Murphy, I'm 8 years old when Delirious came out, and the recalling the cookout at the Murphy house with the Goonie Goo Goo, you know what I'm saying? Aunt Bunny falling down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? Just that whole story, and watching it now as a student now of comedy and a fan of comedy, and seeing set up punchline, tag, callbacks. And at the time, he was just telling funny stories, but just so effortlessly and so naturally. His talent plus his work makes it a masterpiece. I would totally steal that if I could. This is one of the most morbid fucking questions I've ever had to ponder in my life, but I like it. So if I was in my final show, I'm gonna be the host, and it's gonna be post-mortem. I'm already dead. I had some long terminal inoperable disease, so I had time to write my final hour, or my hour, whatever. And so I'm hosting it. And so my friends that I've started comedy with, you know, Devin Benish, Michelle Cantu, Apple, Jimmy Lou, Don Robles, that would be, because that's my comedy crew that I started with in this town. So yeah, they would be roasting me, and I would be roasting them from beyond at my funeral. In my year, in some change of really actively doing stand-up, I used to drink a couple beers, you know, to kind of calm the nerves. But that took me off my game. So I've went from getting a little buzz to a beer or two to not drinking while I'm performing to I haven't had a drink since October. So I cut out alcohol completely in the fact of performing, because I've been on stage, open mics and stuff, a little drunk, a little high, a little bit of both, and that alcohol really takes me off the game and stuff. Before I go on, the comic right before me, no matter what, I have to take a pre-set nervous piss, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I could have just emptied my bladder 15 seconds before, but if I'm next, I got to take that nervous piss. I just have this fear of pissing myself on stage, or as I get older, I only got a finite amount of time to make it to the restroom, so I'm timing my steps as I'm walking the stage. So yeah, I try to get it out before I get up on stage. I tell this to I've answered various versions of this question. If you feel like, for me, it took me a long time to actually start comedy, but my whole life I always felt this just undeniable tug to give it a try. And if you feel that, and if it never goes away, or it was there before but it comes back, listen to that gut. See if your story is ready to be told in a comedy format, in a funny format. That's the only thing I would say. I can't think of a reason not to, unless you just ain't funny and you don't love it. You thinking that this is your way to cash or whatever, money and all that shit. But if you have that undeniable urge, and then you get up there and you try it and you love it, even when you bomb, because you will bomb, you do this, and that brings you back with all the doubt and all the fear and all that shit, but that try it again comes back at you, that's when you know that this might be your destiny. Damn, that was fire. Fire ass.